This is the Horse Radio Network.
This is episode 1163 of Horse Tip Daily, your almost everyday morsel of helpful hints, useful facts, and practical techniques for horse folks. Brought to you today by EquestrianCollections.com. Greetings, horse people. Coach Jen here, and thanks for tuning in to Horse Tip Daily. Today's tip is an excerpt from Dr. Wendy Ying's traditional Chinese medicine update on the Driving Radio Show. Dr. Ying and show co-host Glenn are joined by Anna Frensmeyer to talk about the Whole Foods movement for horses. And we'll get right to our tip after this from EquestrianCollections.com.
Hi, Glenn here, and I am with Debbie from Equestrian Collections with this week's Product of the Week.
Hi, Glenn. This week I'm featuring one product, but two types of the same product, the WeatherBeeta Elite Saddle Pad. It comes in both all-purpose and dressage style. The thing that makes this unique is it has a sticky piece that's on the outside of the pad. The outside of the pad is a suede type of material. The inside, of course, is the wicking lining, so your horse is cool and all that. But the outside has this grippy silicone patch logo that actually it's sticky for your saddle, not for your horse. So it tends to not slip. So if you have a saddle, particularly like one of these treeless, and if you can use this and it'll help stick to it. Because sometimes with some of those saddles you can't use the binding thing. So this will help keep your saddle in place. It also has another way cool feature, which is the girth patch. Instead of being the same material, it's a PVC covered patch there. So it not only is more durable, but then it would keep your pad from getting stained. Because sometimes that happens with girths. So I thought that was a pretty unique feature as well. So that's why I wanted to feature that this week. It does come in the all-purpose type and also the dressage type. So check it out. It's by WeatherBeeta, well-known, well-beloved brand, WeatherBeeta Elite Saddle Pad.
And in a lot of colors.
Yeah, that's true. That's another thing. It comes in blue, light blue, dark blue, pink, purple, and white, and all that. So, yeah, take a look at it. I think you'll like it.
And the price is right at EquestrianCollections.com. Just search for WeatherBeeta Elite, and you'll find it there at EquestrianCollections.com. This product highlight was produced by the Horse Radio Network. Listen to all of our shows at HorseRadioNetwork.com.
Our guest today is Anna Frensmeyer of Crypto Arrow Whole Horse Feeds, and she lives in Wellington, and she's developed an all-natural horse feed made of whole foods. So this goes really well with my food therapy instructions. Processed foods are so bad for us and for animals. And currently there wasn't an option for horses. It was like the Purina 100, 200, 300, right? So this is a great option if you want to go with whole foods for your horses. Well, hi, Anna, and welcome to the Driving Radio Show.
Thank you. Hi.
We're so happy to have you on. And as we talked about earlier in the show, we wanted to talk to you about your Crypto Arrow whole horse feeds because Chinese medicine, food therapy is very important for lifelong wellness. And if you don't change the diet, you can never really, you're just going to mask the symptoms with medicine. So it's great to have you on here and tell us about this new horse feed that you've developed. So tell us all about that.
Well, first, the name is Crypto Arrow, which is named after my off-the-track thoroughbred that I adopted. And he was very sick. He had ulcerative colitis, and he was very much underweight. And so I started feeding him with just a traditional commercial feed, and then he plateaued, and he just wouldn't put on more weight, and he started colicking quite a bit. And the vets decided that he had ulcerative colitis and that it was probably best to put him down, that it was probably really advanced and he wasn't going to get any better. And that's when I started reading, feed tags, and I was trying to figure out what is really in commercial feed that would make him any better, and then realized that it would probably be best if I fed him myself. And so that's how it all started, and how I started cooking for him. And the first thing for me was, the digestive tract. I really wanted to support him from that angle. And so the papaya, which has the papain in there that helps with digestion and also can help heal the cut.
It helps heal the mucosal lining.
Yes. It helps to heal the mucosal lining of the intestine. And then the green cabbage has L-glutamine naturally, which is one of the most essential amino acids to build intestinal wall and repair it. So those were kind of the first two things. And then the rice bran oil for the gamma-oryzanol, again, that can help with ulcers. And then my favorite is the spirulina. They've done studies in countries where people take a lot of spirulina, and they've found them to have very low incidences of irritable bowel syndrome. So that's one of the good things about spirulina. And then the other thing is that it helps shift the immunity from IgE-mediated to IgG and IgA, which means instead of having an allergic response, the body actually, increases the defense mechanism. So that really helps as well. And the basis of the feed are whole oats. I believe that they've been what we've been feeding horses for the longest time. And they really have an excellent nutritional profile for horses. When they're left whole, the glycemic index is much less than if they're crimped or, or flaked or rolled. And, the horses chew more. So all those things are, why I chose the whole oats. Also, when you open them and, you process them in any way, you lose the oil in the oat. So that's why they're left whole.
Were you totally shocked when you... Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Were you totally shocked, like when you read the bag of feed, when you started getting into this, were you totally shocked about what was in there when you actually found out?
Yes. And, my background is biology and nursing. And, when I worked in the hospital for many years, and then I switched to home health care. And so I actually got to see what patients ate. And then it made a lot more sense as to why they were in the hospital so much. So I did a lot of nutritional counseling. And then when I started reading the tags on commercial feed, there really isn't anything in there that would make a horse feel better.
Yeah.
It's
yeah. And did your
nutritious.
horse have other issues? Like you got him straight off the racetrack?
No, I got him from an organization that helps them find new homes. But
did he have other problems like
feed.
Skin problems and terrible feed because
his skin was okay, but his feet were terrible, and he didn't have a tail. Like he was 6 years old, and his tail was barely reaching his hocks.
Oh, really? Because in Chinese medicine, we say like the spleen in the stomach, that is like the basis of your wellness. Like that builds your qi. You eat food and that helps build your qi to help build your immune system. So that's why I really, really love this product, because the things that you're focusing on is, really just common sense, but in the Chinese medicine way that we think about it, it also matches. So I'm sorry to interrupt you on the ingredients list, but tell us about the addition of the hay pellets and the Timothy and the alfalfa in there.
The hay pellets, they've done studies that when a horse gets the grain ration together with hay, that the acidity in the cecum is more stable. So that's why I added the hay pellets. And then the alfalfa is in there just to provide calcium, because the oats are higher in phosphorus, so I had to balance that with some calcium. And then the peas are really important for the lysine. I sometimes help people that don't have access to my product to kind of put together their own ration. And that's one of the main things that people sometimes don't consider. Like they'll feed oats and flax and hay pellets, but I really believe that they should have the peas for the additional lysine. And then I have rose hips in there, which I love. They're super high in vitamin C, natural, which is not ascorbic acid, not the same thing.
What's a rose hip? What is a rose hip?
A rose hip is when you look at the flower of a rose and the petals fall off, what's left in the middle is a rose hip. And actually, when you have rose bushes in your pasture, horses will go and eat them. They love them.
Okay.
And they also help with arthritis. They have been recognized by the World Arthritis Organization to have the same anti-arthritic effect as glucosamine. And they're a mild kidney tonic. And the other really cool thing about rose hips is they're very high in rutin. And rutin has been used since the 1940s to help strengthen capillaries. And so they were fed for quite a while in the 1900s to racehorses to help them with bleeding. So I love the rose hips. And then brewer's yeast for some B vitamins, anise and fenugreek, because they had to taste good and I didn't want to put molasses, and flaxseed meal for the immune system. So yeah,
I'm really glad that you do.
Yeah,
I'm glad you put in the anise and the fenugreek because it is yummy for them. They love that taste, and then you don't have to douse the whole thing with molasses. Because this is such a good option for horses that you want to, not have too much sugar.
Yes, and one of the things that I'm often that I have a little bit of a problem is that some feed companies will advertise that a low starch pelleted feed is safe for horses, and I think that should be worded a little bit more carefully because when you look at anything that's processed and pelleted and actually popped is the worst of them, it gets absorbed so quickly in the small intestine that, in fact, the horses do have sugar spikes.
Right.
So the process is not safe, no matter the starch content. So if you're worried about starch, you really shouldn't feed anything that's processed.
Yeah. And, the star anise is used in Chinese medicine and also in Chinese cooking a lot. It's part of the 5-spice powder. And I don't know if this is why you put it in your feed or not, but it actually has a lot of anti-inflammatory and anti-fungal properties, and also is great to ward off viruses. It's actually some of the chemicals in there is the basis of the drug Tamiflu that is used for SARS virus and the flu. So that's what I loved about the anise in there because, go ahead.
No, sorry. Is it similar to licorice? Because I know that licorice also has the antiviral properties, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's the same chemical in the licorice and the star anise.
Super.
So if I just eat Twizzlers, I'm okay?
No, because that is not real, and there's not even any real licorice in there.
Okay.
It's licorice flavor.
Okay. You guys are so picky.
I know.
Yes.
Processed medicine, processed food. Mr. Lyme's disease.
You are what you eat.
But also, I don't know if you know about Chinese medicine, like the temperatures of foods. This food is so great because it's very balanced in its temperature. Like oats are pretty neutral and alfalfa is cooling and the peas are cooling and then the sunflower seeds are, neutral. And then the anise is also cooling. The fenugreek is warming and the rose hips are warming. So it's a really great neutral temperature diet. If I had your horse in my practice, like you were talking about, what we think about your horse with the colitis is that stomach heat, like he has heat throughout his intestines, and we need something that's like going to cool it and drain it. And this is just the perfect feed for that.
That is so interesting. I didn't know that. That is fantastic.
I'll send you some information about the temperatures of the foods because this one, I think it just shows how the Chinese medicine, we didn't know all the stuff of how to analyze all the chemicals in food when they developed this system of like classifying food energies. But, as we learn more about how to extract these technologies from the feeds, we're seeing that like you made this food with modern technology, but it actually works out perfectly with the Chinese medicine theory too. So it actually goes together really well.
That is fantastic. I mean, I really just thought of all the things that would help a horse get better with, any issue. And it's quite like some of the things I didn't even realize until I received all the testimonials.
Yeah.
I really just wanted to make a good, clean feed. And once the testimonials started coming in, it was like, oh, wow, it helps with a lot of things.
Well, let's find out where you can actually buy it. I'm on the website, and it looks like you have feed stores in many states, mostly on the East Coast here. Where can people buy it, and how long does it keep?
The shelf life in the northern states is really fantastic because there's nothing in there that will mold, because usually like molasses is what we're concerned with, with mold. So the shelf life is a good 6 months when you're in a cooler climate. Down here in Florida, where it's really hot in the summer, it's 4 to 6 weeks. And then when you visit the website, which is www.cryptoarrow.com, under distributors is our list of feed stores where you can buy it. If it's not available in your area, we can also ship direct to farms, or you can ask your local feed store to carry it.
Well, there you have it. You can find links to today's guests as well as lots more tips at horsetipdaily.com. Make sure to have all of your favorite Horse Radio Network shows with you wherever you go with the free Horse Radio Network app for your iPhone or Android. Just go to your app store and search Horse Radio Network, or you can subscribe via iTunes. This podcast was made possible through the generous support of EquestrianCollections.com and listeners like you. This is Coach Jen, and I'll be back soon with another tip. Until then, go ride your horse. The Horse Radio Network and the Horse Radio Network hosts are not responsible for statements of guests or their opinions. Use your own judgment when listening to the tips provided by the experts on Horse Tip Daily.